Katie, we're kindred spirits in more ways than one here. You shared so many examples where I'm like, yep, checkbox, yep, that's me. I made several notes, but there's one thing in particular that I wanted to point out, especially for the audience of folks that are looking to either A, buy a franchise, or B, become a franchisor themselves, is you and I are both living proof that you can follow your passion and make money. You know, that cliche of following your passion and the money will find you, it kind of got kicked on and beat up by a lot of people in the business world, saying that that's a lot of BS, that's nonsense. And you and I are living proof that you can follow your passion and you can make money doing that.
Yes. Yes. I didn't, the more you talk, I'm like, we really are kindred spirits. Like we are both, our franchises both started for just helping these kids realize their strength and that they're needed in this world. That's like one of our mantras at Singers Company is I'll share my voice. And we have a theme song, I'll share my voice for good, and I'll make good choices along the way that bring strength. So yes. And my husband always says, he goes, Katie, you think about a child's life, they have one teacher a year and they can remember that teacher. And some of my girls, I have them every year for 7 years. Tons of families have stuck with us. He goes, do you realize the impact that you are going to be such a memory seared in their little hearts and minds because you were the teacher that was there for years.
Right.
And Singers Company was, and these little girls, we haven't even touched it because these girls are growing up. They are just barely becoming 21, 22, 23. Like
I've got chills.
I know.
You have not even seen the impact that you've made on these girls yet. Just wait until these young girls become moms and entrepreneurs, and
they're amazing.
Yeah,
they're amazing.
whatever they do.
Singers Company directors. I mean,
of course,
we have women out there that are just. I mean, that in fact, we're starting to get some Singers Company girls that will reach out and say, "Is there one by me? I have a little girl. I just had a little girl of my own. She's a baby, but I want her to do Singers Company. Is there one by me?" And sometimes we say yes, and sometimes we say no. You be thinking about it the next couple of years and see if it's a good thing for you.
Let's talk a little bit. I want to shift gears here about franchising, since we have people listening again that they may be interested in being part of your franchise. And I'd like to know sort of what you think. What was life like for you first starting out when you became a franchisor? Like, how did you even find your first franchisees? Were they customers? Did you go through a broker network? How did your first 8, I think you said in that summer how'd you find them?
Right. We are such a different franchise. Some of the normal avenues that I think franchisors take to get, to put their concept out there we've tried a few of them early on, and we just realized not just anybody could be a Singers Company director, but almost anyone that believed in our cause and had the investment money could become a franchisor. They can hire a director, but we're very, careful about who we have with these girls. But in the franchise world, we're just different. We're a little bit different. We're a smaller scale. And so we're like the entry level, like the investment level is one of the, on the very lower end, because this is a part-time gig, but it also can be a full-time gig. We have directors and franchisees that have quit their full-time jobs because they see the amount of money they can make in the minimal time. And now they do Singers Company every day of the week, and they don't have to work as many hours, and they're making more money.
We haven't even talked about the lives you're changing with those people.
I know, that's the thing. Now we've come with, like, one of our mantras is strong women, strong girls, because not only do we get testimonials from the parents about what it's doing for their daughter, we get testimonials from directors. And so those first 8 people knew me. They knew what I was doing. I had lived in a few states. I had started groups in, how many different communities by the time I franchised. So by the time I just told people that I was franchising, because a lot of people would try to do something like this, but they end up kind of crashing and not crashing and burning, but burning out. Because
why doesn't it work for those people?
I think number one, they lose sight of what it's really about and what it really can do. They're more in it for, look what I created. Look at the show that I produced. Look at me. Because they're performers, and performers like the spotlight.
Of course. So that's
Right.
not really your ideal franchisee.
No, in fact, we're really wary. If someone starts to talk about all their credentials about what they do musically and like performing wise, we ask more questions of that person than we would someone that's coming at it with, I love your cause. I love what you do. Like a lot of our franchisees come from a mom who had their daughter in a group in this city. Then their family moved to this city and they're frantically searching for singers company again, and they can't find it. So they reach out. Is there a singers company here? Please say there's a singers company here. There's not. They say, well, what are we going to do? We're like, well, you could create it yourself. We could do it yourself. And then they say, could I? And we're like, yes, because we give you everything. And all you have to do is have a big heart and a passion for our mission, and you can do it. And then they do it. And so it's kind of the mission. Our franchise is so mission driven. It could definitely, so those first 8 came from people who knew me. And as soon as I franchised it and said, look, I'm going to give you everything. I'm going to give you every little video that you need. I'm going to tell you exactly how to connect with each girl, the way that we do it. I'm going to give you, you don't have to worry about the show. You don't have to worry about costumes. We manufacture them and ship them to you. You don't have to worry about all these things. You just plug in, bring your big heart, bring your excitement. We'll even tell you when to like cheer these girls on and scream and yell and jump up and down with excitement. We'll tell you what to say. We'll tell you what not to do. We'll tell you when to show up. We'll tell you what don't waste your time on. We'll tell you everything. All you have to do is, invest and plug in, and you're good to go.
Katie, of course you're successful. I mean, come on here. I mean, there's not really a surprise. You realize that you really have done the McDonald's systematizing of music and dance here is what it sounds like. But more than that, it's about really the passion and the mission. But the fact that you've taken the time to building in those systems and processes for people was critical, because we know that if somebody just has passion, if they passion for what they do, but they don't know how to do it, they could just also crash and burn, right? Because they're like, but I have a big heart. But it's more than that. It's more than just having a love. It's you have that delicate balance that a lot of people don't have, the delicate balance of mission driven. But I know that with that, there comes a responsibility of having systems and processes. And these people who are franchisees of yours that are successful, they are successful because they do follow your system, right?
One of our franchisees, she just got our, through Franchise Business Review, she got our Franchise Rockstar Award. And she is from New Jersey. And if you meet me, you'll be like, oh, she's so bubbly. She has so much energy. And I really do. And I really am. I've always been that way, I think, my whole life. But if you meet one of our franchisees, she's amazing, but she's not me. You know what I mean? And you wouldn't necessarily think that she was our most successful franchisee. But at one time I asked her, I was just like, Emily, how are you, you are busting at the seams there in New Jersey. What are you doing? And this is when I knew we really were onto something. This was probably 3 years in to franchising. And she said, Katie, I do everything you tell me to do in those lesson plans and in the training. If you tell me to jump up and down after the girls practice this one song, I jump up and down. If you tell me not to worry about talking to that parent about that, but talk to them about this instead, I do it. If you tell me don't get on that girl, instead of, getting on that girl because she's misbehaving, shoot her a compliment and she will immediately, I do exactly what you tell me to do. If it's in the handbook, if it's in the lesson plan, I do it. And that's when I was like, wow, this just is opening up a whole new world of, you don't have to be, have this type of personality to be a singers company director. You really just have to have the drive and a big heart and passion for what we're about and want to be part of that big movement of something bigger. And what we give you will make you successful if you do it and follow it.
Wow. Thank you for tuning into the Emerging Franchise Brands podcast. For additional insights, guest applications, and to stay connected, visit us at efbpodcast.com. The Emerging Franchise Brands podcast is for entertainment purposes only, and the views expressed do not necessarily represent those of Emerging Franchise Brands, its host Frank Fiume, or Emerging Franchise Group, LLC. Any discussed franchise or investment opportunity requires thorough investigation, obtaining proper disclosure documents, and expert consultation before making any investment decisions. The podcast and its host do not offer professional advice or endorsements, and they hold no responsibility for actions, representations, accuracy, or consequential damages related to the podcast content.